magic of the Cybernet Space Cube, the computer-enhanced podcast of the future. Transformers Slag Podcast.
What up, everybody? How we all doing this Saturday night? It's a Transformers Slag Podcast Saturday Night live stream main event. I'm your host, Proto Man. I am the face that runs this place. I'm the voice you hear Monday to Friday. And it's a sad Saturday. It's supposed to be TFCon weekend. Obviously, I'm not there. Have bigger promises in the future for the West Coast, so I'll get into that in a moment. I will be at the future TFCons, just not this weekend, so I apologize if you thought I was going to be there. But a much sadder piece of news this weekend. Akira Toriyama, my little tribute back there. Akira Toriyama, the amazing creator of Dr. Slum, Sandland, and so many others, Dragon Boy. You might know him for a little anime and manga called Dragon Ball, or better known in the West as Z. He passed away of a hematoma. Amazingly, at the beginning of the month, they just kept it on the down low. And at 68 years old. And when that news broke last night, actually it was 2 nights ago. I couldn't sleep. It was pretty tough. Like I found out through a friend. He messaged me around 8 o'clock at night on Friday. And I was just playing Nintendo Switch and just chilling in the bedroom with the loved ones. And the news broke. And I was like, I need to go for a walk. Dragon Ball was a huge part of my life. Huge part of my life. And what we're going to do today is we're going to cover the news today. We're going to talk about our Transformer stuff. And then we're going to take a little journey. I pulled a whole bunch of rare stuff out of my archives. You think this is crazy? You should see my Dragon Ball collection. Because Dragon Ball was huge for everyone in my high school. If you're a Canadian, like Dragon Ball became a thing in the States, in the United States around like Toonami era, early 2000s. But if you were a Canadian, especially a French Canadian, that stuff was rumbling around since 1994, which is pretty crazy. And I'm going to pull some of that stuff out today because it's pretty wild. So let's jump into it. We're going to cover the news, cover some stuff, and then we'll enjoy the rest of the evening reminiscing about some amazing things. Take some super chats from the fans, of course, and then some. So let's jump into it, shall we? So the first thing we got to cover, and man, like we're just, thank goodness BMAC and Mark and Evan are going to be doing an update every Thursday because there's going to be nothing to talk about when it's all said and done. And so here's our first piece that we got this week. And it was, hey guys, here's your first look at Cybertron Starscream. And oh, by the way, he's showing up in a whole bunch of stores right now. Actually, a local store here in Montreal. Shout out to Toys on Fire and Mark and Dave, who run the store. Awesome dudes. They need some water today. It's been a rough day. They even got the stock for it. Like, geez. First time we're learning about Transformer toys when it's actually in stores and in hand, and that's pretty insane. So Cybertron Starscream Voyager class, I mean, looking amazing. Looking really good. Way better than the original. Mind you, again, it doesn't have to house springs and gimmicks and have a little line of engineering to work a Cyber Planet key, even though it comes with one. That's pretty great. And for anyone who wasn't able to get the original Voyager class, because we technically didn't get it proper, we got repaints of it in every color of the rainbow, but we got the large scale. We got that. You can barely see him there. Big boy over there, King Starscream, although the wire's getting in the way. What's up, Kid Muscle? But yeah, Awesome stuff available right now, depending on where you live. Probably showing up in stores any day now. So check your local Walmart, Target, or whatever. Uh, that's a wild one. That should have been revealed to us proper through official channels way before. So hopefully we get down on that. Japan revealed to us the Studio Series Core Class Bumblebee movie Starscream. This is also something that, I mean, everything in this wave, the Shockwave, the Bumblebee movie Sunstreaker, the Gamer Edition Sideswipe. What am I forgetting? I know I'm forgetting something. Oh, the Swoop's the only one we didn't get revealed yet. But like, so even this one now, Core Class revealed to us, man, like everything's just popping up early. So this one here too, obviously this is going to get repainted every color of the rainbow. So stay tuned for that one, you know. Cringe McCringle, funny you mentioned it. King Starscream, a lady has 8 cases of it. Yeah, you show me the picture. You know what? You know what's crazy though? That Supreme Class King Starscream was like a dime a dozen back in the day in 2004 when it first launched. And I remember BotCon 2008. I know there's photos of it out there because I remember BotCon 2008. They had a kids playpen area, kind of like a daycare, and they had like 20 of those King Starscreams in there for kids to play with. And by the end of the weekend, like 3 of them were missing. So great stuff either way. Got a super chat from Kevin PH for $2. It's the death of Stephen Halliburton all over again. Well, I don't know about that, my friend. Akira touched everyone around the world. You know, even like, I mean, even if you come from countries that you would consider like lower tier, if you will, you know, not even like the first world countries, but second world countries and third world countries. Dragon Ball has a huge influence. There was this great photo. I wish I saved it to show you guys. And it's a picture of Goku, and then it's a picture of every single race possible, black, white, brown, everything. And they're all saying, that's me, you know, meaning like everyone saw themselves in Goku, you know, no matter what walk of life you came from. Like, and as someone who, like, you know, grew up in the black community, Dragon Ball was religion. You know, like again, I've shown you guys like this guy, Kami. Oop, there goes Kami. Way to go. You dropped God. Kami Kami has stayed on my desk forever, along with the dragon. I'm dropping everything here now, along with the dragon. Uh, it just was such a big deal back in high school, and we're talking like 1995, 1996, because Canada was a little bit ahead of the curve when it came to anime. I'll get into that whole history in a moment. I know a few other countries too used to get anime early just because of the ease of distribution. I mean, again, I'll explain in a moment why, especially French Canada got it way before everyone else. But yeah, let's get back into the Transformer news, and then we'll detour for the rest of the evening into the Dragon Balls. But yeah, and then we got the Star Raiders. This was a big one. We get to see these through the Walmart sneak peek, as they called it. We're going to get the full reveal of these this Thursday coming up, which is going to be the 2 missing characters of Road Pig and that leader class Thundertron. But they showed us 3 deluxes and 1 Voyager. Maybe there's another Voyager too. Maybe there's something else we're missing here. But we got the Lockdown, we got the Cannonball, we got the Filch, and we got the Ferric, and they are looking amazing. I just wanted to bust out of the archives here the original Cannonball, and I love how that was maintained. They put a fake head on the roof with light bars to emulate the original toy that used to be able to do that on the if you look on the top right there. So that's a nice little touch to do that to the skids mold. And again, we're getting this guy, and they did all that tooling. Someone ain't too far behind. So that's pretty hype. Cyber Planet key. People were wondering the emblem that's on the side of the vehicle, because a lot of people were like, "Oh, why didn't they go with the skeleton that's on the side here?" They instead went with something similar to what was on the top of the vehicle. People were going, "Hey, is that the Vok from Beast Wars?" It's like, yeah, I could see how you could see that, but it's just the top deco on that was on the top of the vehicle now on the side, pretty much. But looking pretty good. The Filch is great too. I love the retooling on her. Very clever how they were able to make the wings detachable on 5mm pegs and attach it to the peg holes that were used for Air Razor's blasters now on Filch. I mean, a lot of great stuff going on here. Absolutely love it. Even the Ferric that I thought was going to be just a straight up repaint, like they retooled the F out of him. Like they didn't have to do that. Like I don't even know why they did. I'll be straight up with you. Like I still don't understand why they did all of that outside of them like, okay, we're going to do a toy Cyclonus later that's different from the one we did with Hasbro Pulse, you know? So pretty cool. And I don't know, the lockdown. I said it in my individual segment. I think the lockdown is going to be just one of these cases where you know, they're going to do a better one later. I think that this is just, hey, we need to just keep that trademark and we'll do something better down the line in 4 years or 3 years or something. So it is what it is. None of the pre-orders for these guys are up right now. The listings are up on Walmart's website. They do say out of stock, but that's just because they're going to all be going live on the 14th this Thursday coming up. So stay tuned for that, and we'll have the others probably revealed in the very near future too. So stay tuned. We will talk about that later this week on the Transformers Slag podcast. We also have, you can tell how the energy is not in me right now because of this week, man. What's up, Aaron? Welcome to the party, Aaron. Aaron and me would have been at LA, but things change. Then we got Blaster. We got Blaster here, Studio Series 86, number 25. Straight up repaint. The big selling point of this boy right here, of course, is its non-clear plastic eject. Hey, that's pretty cool. That's what we all wanted. I love how they put the extra paint on the face of eject to make it super screen accurate and stuff. The Blaster, while I appreciate all the paint done on it, I was really hoping they would retool some parts of it. A lot of that extra tooling that was put on the boombox was, and I know why, they do this all the time. It's like, we're not going to make it perfect 100% this time around. We'll make it perfect later because it didn't need to have like the extra knobs on it, the extra boombox pieces, but they put it in there because they wanted to do something a little different from that of the animation model when it was a Kingdom toy. And of course, later on, a Legacy toy. But now that it's having Studio Series treatment and the fact that this is going to be a Target exclusive tells me that, yeah, this is going to be a Target exclusive, sold in exclusive. Yeah, yeah. Later on, they're going to do a better version. I just know it. They're going to do some kind of retool and it'll be a mass release one and we'll get it done. I think the part of the reason why it's also a Target exclusive is because we have the 40th anniversary Blaster that's out right now. So I guess they don't want to have too much of that in complete retail. The 40th anniversary Blaster is a Walmart exclusive. This is a Target exclusive. They'll probably do some big retail resculpted one later on down the line. But hey, if you want your solid colored eject, here it is, yo. Here it is. This one too is up for pre-order right now. It's sold out, I believe, with some of the websites, but again, you just check in stores. He'll probably be popping up, and they'll be plentiful. So stay tuned for that. $34.99. And then we got the Japanese exclusive. This comes from TV-Kun magazine, and their special Transformers Beast Awakening BW05 Deluxe Class Mainline Mirage Clear version. You get the clear version Mirage and a 36-page magazine talking about the history of this character. So that's pretty hype. I dig that. And I believe it's only like $33. You get the figure and the magazine, which is pretty cool. And then, of course, this was a left field. There's also the complete edition where you could buy 4 of them at once. You also get the magazine, and it comes to about $135 USD. So about the same when you really break it down, 4 pieces each. I think it's a couple bucks more, but you know, If you want to get 4 of them and reenact, the highway chase scene or fighting Scourge, it's there on the Shodo Shukan website. Obviously, there'll probably be some other partner websites and import websites that'll give you an opportunity to pick that too. We got some super chats. Kevin PH, who will be made next, Octane or Broadside? Personally, I think Broadside will probably be the next one just for trademark reasons because his trademark is up as of this year. And it would just be cool because I think Broadside's awesome. So I imagine Broadside will be next just from a trademark standpoint. Just makes sense. They have to do something. Hope that answers that. My friend Kevin. And Mike Rosen with the $5 super chat. Will we get any of the Blaster tapes Proto Man? Oh, for sure. For sure. Number one, because that tooling is there for the eject. Rewind is right away a given. And, the funny thing is when you look at stuff like Ramhorn and Steeljaw, they could almost be retools of each other. I know that the tooling is different between them in transformation, but knowing Hasbro, they could probably pull something off. Two quadruped animals, that both have pop-out heads and pop-out tails, and then all you'd be retooling on the mold. Like, if you had it on the mold sprue, right? You just have both of their weapons on the side, like the wings that are the wing weapons that attach to Steeljaw, the more missile-based weapons that attach to Ramhorn. They'd both be on the same sprue, so that would save them time with the mold casting. That's the way I kind of see it, and I could see them all being done. 2 packs, core class, they're going to do something like that. Core class is pretty much what the Battle Master price point is today. So I could see them like doing, we'll put two in a package and that's it, That's the way I see it. So, I could see that totally happening, especially Steeljaw, because Steeljaw is a trademark that they've been using quite frequently over the past couple while. Ramhorn they used too. The last time they used it was Power of the Primes, but Steeljaw for sure. That's one that they always maintain and keep through other characters, whether it be movie characters or whatever. Even Robots in the Skies 2015. So I could see like Steeljaw for sure at some point happening. And see here is JT Prime 17 said there was a listing of Steeljaw. So there you go. There you go. I'm using logic to figure it out, but if you want facts, there it is right there. So for sure, we will get more cassettes, Mike Rosen. And thank you for the super chat, Mike. Thank you. Then we got this one here. This was from the factories in Vietnam. We had a test shot, lunchtime special, as I like to call it. Doing some tests with some molds and everything in the factories. And while it should be business as usual for the factories printing up and putting out some animated Optimus Prime molds in some wacky colors for some testing. But we notice a brand new face sculpt. Ooh, there's a mouth plate on that one. There's a mouth plate. So that means we're going to be getting something. Is it going to be Toxitron? Because we have that plunger accessory that's already with the Optimus to begin with through the axe. Is it going to be a Wingblade Optimus Prime like I alluded to in my individual segments? Maybe Nemesis Prime? Maybe, Shatterglass Optimus Prime? Maybe my Botcon idea that never came to be, Ultra Prime, which was Ultra Magnus before he was Magnus, in a white repaint of the Optimus mold, because that'd be an easy one. So many things. So many things. But we will see. But it does show that it's in the early stages of it from a factory standpoint. So if the factories are already starting to work on it, that means usually within the next 6 months, something in a more final capacity will start to show up in our hands. So stay tuned for that one. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Mikey and Louie. How could he eat lunch? So the term lunchtime special, might as well explain it. Thank you for might as well bring that up. It comes from the term where sometimes during the lunch breaks at these factories, the factory workers are, no one is really watching over them in a serious capacity. They're there to do their jobs. But when they have their lunch breaks, sometimes they use that free time with the machines to have some fun. And you take recycled plastics, weird colors, and everything like that. And you end up with a blue Optimus, a green Optimus, and everything like that. And that's why it's called a lunchtime special. I actually own quite a few of these of Classics Hot Rod because there were so many of them just kicking around because people were, I don't want to say bootlegging them, but people definitely in the factories were taking advantage of the uninvigilated nature of God, what was that factory that China had back in 2006? Jetta Plastics, I think it was called. Yeah, I think it was called Jetta, because I know that Hasbro had two major factories that they were using, and Takara, in China. It was Jetta Plastics, and there was another one before they switched over in 2012 they switched over, and then of course the permanent change to Vietnam was in 2015. But I think it was Jetta Plastics, and that's where I was getting a lot of these like test shots and everything. So Kevin PH with the gold super chat. Thank you for the gold super chat, Kevin PH. Imagine an update of Energon, Optimus Prime, and Legacy or Generations Prime where Prime and his drones are compatible and combined with the power of the Prime figures. Well, I imagine seeing what Takara's been doing recently. I'm telling you, if they do Energon Optimus Prime, you know that those four individual drones are going to be transforming individual characters. You know it. In the same way that they looked at the Blue Bolt with like the HasLab one and went, yeah, I know he's a gun for Ultra Magnus. Let's make it a robot, you know? Let's make it a target master. So I could totally see them doing that. And honestly, it would be the smart thing to do. You sell the Optimus and then you sell like four core classes. You know, what was it? It was Fire 1, Digger 2. No, it was Fire 1, Gyro 2, Digger 3, and Submarine 4. And, you know, I could totally like see them making them characters. You know, Fire 1, they'll call it Hotspot because they have to use the Hotspot trademark. Gyro 2, you know, Vortex, you know, Digger 3. Uh, I guess Nose Cone. We'll go with you know, Technobot. And Submarine 4. I don't know. Let's go with the GoBots. The Go Dive Dive. Or you know, use the Tidal Wave trademark again after a couple of years. It writes itself. It's so easy with this stuff. But yeah, that's one way I could see them doing it. And I know they will. They will at some point. I mean, look, we got Galaxy Force now. We have RID. We have Armada. You know, all that's really missing is Energon at this point. You know, that's like the glaring omission. Look, we got animated. We got movie recently. I mean, how far back do you want to go? Like, do we need a Beast Machines Optimus Primal? I'm like, that's the only two ones that haven't gotten like an update in the past decade. Is Beast Machines Optimus Primal and Energon. I mean, you want to go into semantics and go, okay, well, maybe like, you know, uh, Transmetal Optimus Primal, but that's definitely like, you know, now you have to really go back. And because we even got an update through Power of the Primes with, you know, Optimal Optimus. So that's really the two glaring ones. So we'll see. We will see. We will see how it goes down. But yeah, I could see that, you know. Or like Patrick Brown said here, a commander class. Yeah, you could do a commander class Energon Optimus Prime. You know, make the commander class, make the Optimus itself like a leader, and then because it's a commander class, you'll make it core classes for the accessories. You know, and make them transformable. Open up the chest, has the matrix, the matrix of combination in there. I believe they called it at the time in the dub. You know, very easy stuff. Fun, easy stuff. And do something with that trailer. Don't make that trailer a boring hunk of plastic. That was the biggest downer about that set. Was the fact that it had such a boring trailer that didn't really do much. It wasn't even a play set. Like it was just like, it's just where you store your dudes. Store your dudes. Oh, Bat Primal. That'd be good. Princeton Phalanx 59. I want more Bat Primal. But I have a soft spot for the Beast Wars stuff. So that's it for more or less. I just want to also talk about another creator who's going through a tough time right now. I talked about it quickly in my individual segment, but I want to give a shout out here to Ron Friedman, legendary writer, creator, dialogue editor of Generation One. I've met Ron on two separate occasions. Really super awesome dude. I don't want to reach for my book right now. Since I did that announcement, we've already raised about $6,000. So thank you everyone for the donations. But we still have a long way to go, unfortunately. American Medical Complex. As a Canadian, this is hard for me to comprehend, but my gosh, so expensive. Jeez, jeez. It's sad that like my cat could get better health care in Canada than humans do in the United States sometimes. I don't want to go on my soapbox, but I mean, geez, sometimes it kills me. And so this legendary human being, this great guy that I've talked to many times, super awesome dude. Let me get stuff from his garage, get some animation cells. He needs your help. He's going through cancer right now and treatment and everything, and it's just brutal, the expenses and my goodness. And he has a GoFundMe up right now. If you're looking for the link, my individual segment on it 2 days ago will have the link. Failing that, if you cannot find it, the replay of this segment you're listening to here today will have it in the pinned comment and the description after the replay. So when we're done here today, this segment obviously goes offline for 30 minutes for YouTube to process it. Make sure I didn't show a nipple or something. You know how YouTube is. And then it'll go live and it'll have the everything in there. So fantastic stuff. Otherwise, like guys, I'm really impressed with how many of you guys have donated and everything. And yeah, we're gonna keep it going. Make sure Ron stays nice and healthy, and he's very grateful. He is right now at TFCon LA right now. So if you want to go say hi to him, and he'll thank you in person for all the great stuff going on there and everything. So absolutely fantastic. Larry's here. Larry, what are you doing? Larry, aren't you in LA? What are you doing? Don't watch it, my boring ass. Go have fun. What is it? Saturday night, man. Come on. Don't be watching me. Go hang out at the bar or something. I don't know. The LA location's not that great for hanging out, I'll be honest. I could kind of agree with that. But yeah. Anyways, go help out Ron. If you're there at TFCon weekend, go by his booth, go pick up. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to go reach for the book. One moment. Go pick up from his booth. I Killed Optimus Prime by Ron Friedman. I love this photo that he has with Stan. When I bought some animation cells from Ron, he gave me, no joke, like not like a printout, like a legitimate Polaroid that he took with his own camera of him and Stan Lee when they were working on the Iron Man animated series back in 1994, the Marvel Action Hour. And he's very quick to always, oh, me and Stan, we were best friends, so. And yeah. Yeah. To Daniel, a man of fabulous taste in quality and literature, you brought a classic in a first publication. Crime lives on. I'm going to sign that. So go pick this up from his booth if you were there that weekend. Have all of these beauties. Ugh, he's an awesome dude. So, and otherwise, go support him. Again, go check out the GoFundMe. If you cannot find the link, I will post it later. It's also on my Twitter. If you scroll down after a couple of days, I don't post a lot on Twitter, so it'll probably be easy to find. I will be going. Someone's asking if I'm going to be going. I will be at TFCon Baltimore. That's looking like 99% like that's going to happen with me and Aaron. TFCon Toronto, 100% I'll be there. TFCon Toronto, I literally just get out of my car and drive 4 hours. Like it's so easy. No borders, no planes, no nothing. But the American shows, those are more coordinating and planning and stuff like that. And much as I would love to be at TFCon LA this weekend, I have a prior engagement in the West Coast for another show, San Diego Comic-Con, to be part of the Symbiote Studios booth in a large capacity, as well as to do some business with Hasbro. So needless to say, that kind of is going to take priority. I hate to say it. So I will be at that one. I would love to go to the BotCon coming up, but I mean, that's already like a stacked, like, look, hey, the guys running BotCon, I'll only come if you invite Aaron as a guest. If you invite Aaron as a guest, then I'll come. But I'm not going to go otherwise. You know what I mean? Invite Aaron as a guest. We'll do a booth. We'll have some nice 40th anniversary stuff. We'll do a panel, whatever. But you have to invite Aaron as a guest, and then we'll talk. We'll do business. So contact the BotCon guys if you want to see Proto Man in some capacity and Aaron Archer. Let's put it that way. Will I be at Toronto Comic-Con? You know what? That one's a possibility. I used to do Fan Expo, which is like Toronto's biggest show out of the whole year, and I used to do Anime North every other year too. It's just there's so many cons. And not to mention I run my own conventions here locally that sometimes it is so tough just to like schedule everything. Think about it, guys. Like I do the podcast every single day. I do the Saturday night live stream, and yet somehow I also do conventions and run conventions. It's madness. So like there's some nuttiness with all of that. But enough about me. Who cares about me? Help out Ron Friedman. The man needs help. Go check it out. Again, check my Twitter for the link. If you can't find the link on my Twitter, I did an individual segment here on YouTube. I believe it was the segment talking about the Clear Mirage a couple days ago. The link will be in the pinned comment and in the description. Failing all of that, wait for the re-upload of this segment you're listening to today, later today, and the link will be in the pinned comment and the description too. And you could go to the GoFundMe and help support Ron and help out the brother, help out a very talented individual. You would not have all the vocal quirks that the season 2 guys have today if not for Ron Freeman. He's the one who decided the pows and the bangs with the Warpath, the unique candor of tracks, like just all the cool little voice quirks that those dudes had. That's Ron Freeman. He looked at the scripts and the characters were just talking. And he was the one that's like, no, why don't you put a little bit of pizzazz there? Give everyone their own unique twist. And the rest was history. And then, of course, I'm pretty sure Wally Burr then just hammered it in even more. But that's a whole other that's a whole other conversation. But check it out, guys. Really talented dude. Gave life to Transformers in ways you can't even imagine. And that's it, more or less, for news. We're going to cover sponsorship stuff, and then we are going to go down the rabbit hole of Mr. Toriyama-san because super important. And you're going to see some rare, cool stuff. Some really, really cool stuff, guys. But yeah, Kaz with the $5 super chat. Love how Sentai-esque Superlink Convoy was. Oh, totally. 100%. Dare I say more Voltron than Sentai? But no, yeah, I could see Voltron. Yeah, more Sentai. Yeah, you're right. It's the same thing, pretty much. Voltron might as well be a Sentai. Or Go Lion. The trailer launching gimmick reminds me of the Die Jupiter from Dynaman. I like Dynaman. Had hot chicks in that one. They're probably all in their 60s now. Bring Megazord Prime back. Well, you know what? I could see them tackling that only just because they haven't done him in so long. You know, you keep looking over at it. I think actually didn't I do an Instagram recently? I'm doing like this whole yo check this out Instagram thing. So I've been doing them every so often. So I did a yo check this out Energon edition, and it was just like the pan of all the Energon stuff. Oh god, you can't see what all the glares. Well, there's Wing Blade and everybody. Not Wing Blade, Wing Saber, aka not Star Saber. Vehicle Voltron. Well, Vehicle Voltron had like 12 units. That's a little crazy. Sea Spray Gurgle. Sea Spray's another one too. He did the Sea Spray. He did all of them. He did all of them. Like, and the thing with Ron too, that like he was the one where he would look at a line, right? And the line would just be like, I'm going to give you a knuckle sandwich, right? In the script. And he'd be like, no, you could create some lore in there. I'm going to give you a nickel plated knuckle sandwich, So it creates language in the same way that Beast Wars, introduced Slag, which is where this podcast name comes from, and swear words and locations and opens up that world. Like that's what Ron did, is he opened up the world. Crystal City, he named the Star Drive. He named the Laser Core, which later on became a Spark. So like he's like that Simon Furman level importance to like growing the brand in a very like science fiction kind of way, because he came from like the GI Joe world where that was already kind of going in that direction with Cobra Law and everything. So again, when you sit down and talk with him, you learn a lot of interesting stuff. Giants Bleed. It's been a long time since I was able to watch a stream live. What's new? All what's up, Giants Bleed? Welcome back. Welcome back to the madness. And David Cabal is here, fellow Dragon Ball fan. He will appreciate what we're going to talk about today. But first, we're going to start with sponsorships because they keep the wheels on this truck going. So we're going to start with Symbiote Studios. Again, like I said, you know, I am going to be at San Diego hanging in there with Symbiote Studios. So Symbiote is going to be where I'm going to be for LA. I apologize for not being at TFCon LA. I know a lot of people were expecting me to be there. Next time, guys, next time, I just have way too many commitments at the time being, unfortunately. And it's just, I swear, like, I think, no joke, I think like the month of TFCon Toronto, like that July, is going to be San Diego Comic Con and Otakuthon Montreal, uh, TFCon Toronto, all week after week. Like every weekend is going to be some craziness. I have no idea how the live streams are going to work because I'm going to be burnt out every day, but I'll figure out something. I'll cross that bridge when that time comes. I will cross that bridge. Yamcha, Wolf's Fang Fist. But yeah, we'll see some Yamcha stuff in a moment too, actually. So Symbiote Studios, our plush, our pins, and our t-shirts. Again, go pick up some Symbiote Studios product. I believe next week we're going to have a reveal. They're kind of busy right now at a certain big Transformer convention in LA. So I was actually seeing some people had the Wheeljack. Yeah, I'm not going to reach for him right now. But yeah, you can barely see anything off. I'm have to move the camera, which I'm not going to do. But I saw a whole bunch of Symbiote Studio plushes photos from the weekend, so that's pretty hype. Again, we have the Ultra Magnus that's going to be coming later this year. Pre-orders will drop actually very soon, now that I look at the calendar. So stay tuned for that one. Get Grumpy Ultra Magnus. The Winter Wonder Festival kits are available now, but will be discontinued very soon. So if you have not picked those up, pick those up because summer is coming. Well, spring, technically. And then, of course, all the rest. All the rest, if you haven't gotten those, go check those out too. And of course, all the other Hasbro branded ones. Kevin PH with the super chat for $5. Voltron crossover using retools of Power of the Prime prediction. Is that possible? The current Voltron trademark for the toy license, if I remember correctly, was last with Mattel. So I don't know if that trademark has lapsed for that license since then. So you'd have to probably look into that. But as I know, which was that Legendary Defenders and that toy line shit the bed, unfortunately, went on massive clearance, which is a shame. I really should have picked up that Lance figure. But anyways, so who knows? Who knows? Maybe Hasbro could slide in there, and they have Power Rangers, they have Transformers. Get the last giant robot and own the Holy Trinity. Mike and Louie, opinion of HasLab Prime missile editions for tier 3. Well, I really hope that there's something more for tier 3 than just missile editions. Let's put it that way. That's, to me, that's not too much of an extra edition that really moves the needle. Once again, it should be something that's mandatory, like a blast effect. It's kind of like you buy the figure and blast effects are an unlocked tier. Yeah, that's stuff that goes into, like I say, let me just reach over here because I always keep it close by for photography, but I keep them all just in like, this is like a Ferrero Rocher box. I just keep them all in this, you know? I literally do. And then when I do photography, I go like, oh, that's, that would be cool to use. That'll be cool to use. So I think that shouldn't be anything even close to a tier edition. That should just be mandatory. A tier 3 has to be a figure. It has to be 2 Spy Changers, an Ichon figure, something. Can't be just, the missile editions should be tier 1. Alden Tolbert with the $2 super chat. Did you watch the latest Sentai yet? Looks cool. I'll tell you something. It's a vehicle Sentai, which always catches my attention. I like the look of the Megazord. The Zord, the Robo, giant Robo, if you will. They don't call it Megazord in Sentai. I think it looks cool. I'm warming up to the Ranger suits. I'm not a big fan of the big vehicle mag as their helmet. I mean, it's definitely unique, but it's kind of funky looking in my opinion. Um, I do like the Red Ranger. He's kind of a mechanic racer, really loves his cars, so I dig it so far. But like anything else with Sentai series is I need like a good 26 episodes in, and then they get their sixth Ranger in the halfway. So we'll see then. I mean, my favorite Sentai series of all time is Deca Ranger, and it had nothing to do with the more it had vehicle based stuff, but like as opposed to let's say Turbo Ranger, Car Ranger. What am I forgetting? Oh, what was that other one there? Oh my God, where they would do you'd hear the Formula One when they would do the kick. Oh my God, there was like three of them in yellow. Oh my God, I forget the name of it. Someone will say it in the chat. But that one was terrible. Oh my God, they were so annoying, that team. I think they lived in a trailer and everything. Couldn't finish that one. But yeah, chances of airy nuts. Oh, go Onger. Thank you, Tucker. It was go Onger. Da, 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 go Anja. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Anja. Go on. I remember the theme song, and I remember how annoying they were, and I was like, oh, I can't. I just can't. And I was so excited because it was vehicle based. Ah well. Airy Nuts with the $2 super chat, chances of a TMNT TF shredder. I could see them doing that. I think like I said, there if the vehicle Turtle Wagon sells well, which I almost guarantee it will, they'll do another. In the same way, like when they did that first Ghostbusters one sold gangbusters. And then they did more. They did that like special pack, they did a re-release. So if something like Ninja Turtles that has so much credibility and so much like it's money, a turtle wagon that transforms, people are going to eat it up. And then if it gets eaten up, they'll do something else. They'll do a shredder that transforms into Technodrome or turns into the module, the drill module. They'll turn into something. They'll do something cool. Like I could see the Technodrome because it's a ball, so they can make it like Unicron kind of cloak kind of thing going on, which will be his cloak, and then like the two little pieces that stick out of Technodrome could be like his claws in robot mode or whatever you want to call it. Alt mode. I dig it. The animal cars were goofy. Yeah, and it had a crazy ass transformation of what was it, like 20, 20 different combiner pieces? I don't know. That one was a little over the top. Too much for me. Too much for me. Yeah, like my favorite ones are like Shinkanger, which was the one with the calligraphy. Deca Ranger, if you want to go more back, I love Car Ranger. O Ranger was really good, which is what we knew as Power Rangers Zeo. If you want to go even more vintage, Dynaman was good. Jetman was fantastic. So what was another really good one? Dynaman, Jetman. There's another one that's really good too. Anyways. But yeah. Let's finish up the other stuff. Horned Owl, I'm really hoping for TMNT bot mode into Metalhead. I hope so too. It would definitely continue that history of the never released Party Wagon.
Must be stopped, no matter the cost.
Geki Ranger was really good too. Geki Ranger had a fantastic theme song. Geki Ranger was really good. And where are we at? Oh my God. So I showed you the rest, all the other Hasbro ones. Get your Power Ranger stuff too. Look at all this Power Ranger talk. Bioman was fantastic also. A lot of the old ones, that Hensei era. All of those are good. Of course, go check out the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. I have been trying to work on our latest segment. It is recorded. I have just had no time this week to edit it. It has been ridiculous between all the news, all the craziness going on. We had hail today, by the way, too. I was so worried we were going to lose power today. All the craziness stuff going on, and then on top of it all, then Akira Toriyama passing away. I just was not in the mood to sit down and record a 2-hour edit a 2-hour segment. But it is coming, guys. Don't worry. We got a brand new segment coming out. Amazing 2 hours of awesomeness talking about Transformers. What it'll be, you will see. But if you want more Aaron in the meantime, go pick up Aaron's book, The Art of Transforming Robots, Volume 2 Color Edition. It's going to be on its way to sell out soon. Volume 3 is in the works, so if you have not picked up Volume 2, get it now while you can, because when it's gone, it's gone. So go get it. Volume 2. Beautiful stuff. Full color, 36 pages of original art from that era of Transformers. If you pay an extra $15, Mr. Archer will give you a custom sketch on the inside of anything you want. Anything you want. And of course, this is Aaron's new ones this week. We got a whole bunch of brand new Posca paintings on the instructions. We got movie Megatron in ice. We got movie Jazz. We got some Skull Cruncher action, or Duros if you love Master Force. Hey man, Cybertron Starscream's the new hotness because of the toy reveal. Why don't you get yourself a Cybertron Starscream instruction? Hang that on your wall. That's the Supreme version, so that one's going to be huge, that one. You got the Wheelie one, which is based off of that Jazz mold. You got Warpath, a little bit of Ron Friedman action there. So whole bunch of others. There's obviously way more than just these. Go check them out at archermonster.com/shop. And go pick you up an original piece of Transformer art that you're going to want to hang, frame, and be proud of. And if anyone else has a problem with it, just kick them out of your house. And that's it, more or less. So I didn't pick up anything this week. The camera's all the way here. I didn't pick up anything this week. Was just doing adult stuff like adult stuff should do. And Death of Akira Toriyama kind of also kept me indoors because I didn't get any sleep the night before. Like literally like found out at 8 o'clock. And then it was just like, oh my, I was just like lying in bed like this, just like, oh my God, like just trying to process it. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. Kevin PH, who would you like to rap battle with Optimus Prime in an epic rap battle of the history? Leader 1, the Gundam with Almero in the cockpit, has to be just as important a historical robot. And then they could go back and forth. But yeah, so what I wanted to do was kind of show you some cool stuff of Akira Toriyama paraphernalia, specifically Dragon Ball stuff throughout the years, and my history with Dragon Ball. Because before this madness, essentially how it went down was young Proto Man got into Transformers in 1986, got his blaster figure, all of that, got some Micro Masters in the early 90s, thanks to Michael, one of my classmates in grade school. He helped pepper my collection with a whole bunch of Micro Masters. And the only other Transformer toy I had was a broken G1 Optimus Prime trailer that I got from a thrift store with my father. And then there was the dark ages of no Transformers, because when G2 came out in 93, while I watched G2 religiously because I was able to see those episodes I wasn't able to see before, I wasn't buying G2 toys. Power Rangers was ridiculously hot in 93. There was the X-Men cartoons that were out. You know, video games were huge. That was the console wars of Super Nintendo versus Sega Genesis. And the biggest thing of all that was happening at that time was I was a big arcade rat. I was big into the Street Fighter scene and playing fighting games. And still to this very day, if you play in Street Fighter or any SNK title, whether it be, Samurai Showdown, King of Fighters, Fatal Fury, if I hear that going on, I'm going to be there to kick some butt. But what does this have to do with Dragon Ball? Well, in 1993, at the heat of Street Fighter's popularity, I picked up this magazine from my magazine store, Saul's Magazines and Gifts in Côte-de-Neige in Montreal, Canada. And I picked up Electronic Gaming Monthly, EGM, issue number 51. It was the Super Street Fighter edition, talking about Super Street Fighter and the new characters we were going to get, Cammy and Fei Lung and everything like that, DJ and T-Hawk. And what was really cool about this magazine is they would also show games that we wouldn't get here in the West. So they would show Super Famicom stuff, Japanese Super Nintendo games. And this was the first time I was ever introduced to Dragon Ball back in 1993. There was a 2-page spread. I actually still have this magazine, but it is falling apart, and I didn't want to waste my time showing you a magazine that fell apart. So this was a 2-page spread about Dragon Ball Super Botuden for the Super Famicom, the very first Dragon Ball fighting game. And I was like, what is this Dragon Ball thing? Because I was just like, here, I just want to actually, I'm going to zoom in here. Like, I was like, what are these Hadoukens? Because it was Hadoukens, it wasn't Kamehamehas. I was like, yo, look at this, look at these blasts. Kamehameha, look at that final flash. That's taking the whole screen, you know? And look at the names too. So you have Son Goku, Vegeta, look how's that spelled. And look at the androids. Jinzo Ninjin 20 Go. And because the Go was supposed to be like 5, they probably mistranslated there from EGM. Android 16, Freezer, no A, Piccolo, at least they kind of spelled that right. There's Android 16. Look at Cell. Cell is an S-E-L, like the Cell something. Then you got the others here. Saiyajin Goku, Trunks S, P-Cell, Son Gohan. What was I looking at? I had no idea. No idea what I was looking at back then. Let me just put this back to full screen. But I saw this in the magazine and I was like, wow, that's really cool. Yet again, another fighting game that I'll probably never get to play. And EGM used to show this off all the time. JR Mina, what is the difference between EGM and EGM2 back in the day? EGM2 was the supplemental magazine. They usually would show like reviews with that one. Because I know like I used to get the EGM2 annual, and like that would be mostly reviews and stuff. A lot of reviews and sometimes previews. I would get both. My father used to always go to the magazine store to get Rolling Stone magazine back in the day. And he'd always be like, pick up a magazine, son. So I'd go straight to the video game stuff and then pick out anything. And, I picked up again that magazine and this Dragon Ball stuff was in there. And I was like, what is this? This is crazy. But, again, I saw it and I was like, oh, what do you got, Mark here? Mark with the gold super chat. Toriyama's influence on manga and anime's landscape is undeniably game changing. From his artwork, the action, the gags, he made his own style. His legendary work will never be forgotten. R.I.P. Akira-san. Well, thank you, Mark. Trust me, I'm going to show some cool art in a moment from Akira. Let me tell you. Kevin PH with the $5 super chat. Have you seen the Godzilla versus King Kong epic rack battle? No, I have not seen that yet. Actually, is that out there? It's funny. Actually, I was literally looking at the toys at Walmart a couple of days ago. Larry, by the way, Larry, if you're still in the chat, go to our Toys R Us, the West Island one. They completely gutted it and turned it into an HMV. I don't know what the hell's going on over there. I've got to do some research. I think HMV is doing a merger with Toys R Us Canada. It's craziness. When did they do that? I haven't been there in 2 weeks, so something happened. Anyways, getting back to Dragon Ball. So this was my first touch with Dragon Ball. This was 1993. 1993, I saw this. And again, I'm an old man. So like 93, I was, how old? I was 8 years, no, I was 10 years old at the time when I saw this. 10 years old, Proto Man, picking up his Street Fighter Electronic Gaming Monthly magazine, seeing this Dragon Ball stuff. That was that. Okay, cool Dragon Ball stuff. That was that. But then something happened. And this was the big thing, was Dragon Ball. I had the name in the back of my mind because of that magazine. And then later issues of EGM would mention anime stuff. Oh, Dragon Ball here, Dragon Ball that. But it was always video game related. That's how my brain kind of compartmentalized it. Fast forward to late 1994. It's Saturday morning. I'm sitting in my sister's bedroom. My sister at the time, she had a couch in her bedroom, like a love seat. And sometimes I would go into her bedroom and watch Saturday morning cartoons because she had a TV in her bedroom. So she had like this little tiny television. I don't know if Annie's in the chat today. And woke up super early. We'd always watch cartoons because, cartoons Saturday mornings were 6 a.m. to about 12. And then it was wrestling. And then that was it for cartoons for the rest of it. Then it's daytime television. And I was watching YTV, legendary Canadian channel. And YTV sometimes would pipe in the same cartoon feeds of Fox. So at 7 o'clock, YTV and Fox 31 had the exact same cartoon that was playing. And what was this cartoon? This is the actual footage from late 94, early 95.
Hey kids, make sure to tell your parents and all your friends that you're watching Fox 31, the place to be for kids TV. Check it out, crew.
Long ago, 7 Dragon Balls were forged and scattered over the face of the planet. Once united, the eternal dragon will be called forth to grant the discoverer a single wish.
Dragon Ball, gotta find that Dragon Ball. Don't stop until you got them all, the 7 magic balls. It's all you gotta do to have your wish come true. Get that Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball. The greatest test of all is to find that 7th ball. Danger all around you, villains everywhere. Evil lives around you, keep on searching, but beware. He's gonna show you. He's gonna help you find the way. He's gonna show you. He and his friends are gonna save the day. Dragon Ball, there's always evil lurking till the dragon calls. You won't believe the magic in those 7 balls. Everybody's searching for the Dragon Ball.
So I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. And this was 1995 about. I'm correcting, it was about April of 95 when this happened. And I was like, Dragon Ball, as in the video game that I read in EGM magazine, and that kid is named Goku? Wait a minute, let's go back here a second. Son Goku, but he's an adult here. What is going on? And I was going like, what is going on? What is going on? What am I watching here? And it's anime, and it's Quebec, and it's Montreal, and we always have anime stuff. So I went down the rabbit hole, and I was like, what is going on? What is this stuff? And I ended up learning that Dragon Ball was this manga that was available. You could get the comic book on top of the cartoon that we're watching. And so I went to Reno Bray. Still has the sticker on it, which is amazing. I went to Reno Bray in Montreal back in 1995. And I picked up Dragon Ball #1. Still has the sticker from Reno Bray. Librairie, Reno Bray. $12.95. Jesus, that's overpriced. Goodness gracious. I picked this up and was introduced to the world of Dragon Ball in its uncensored format. I don't even care if I get flagged because you got to show it. Because every single Western version of this has been flagged since then. Where's Roshi-san? Bam! There we go. But yeah, so this was first year of high school for me, grade 7, 12 going to 13 years old, introduced to Dragon Ball in French from Glenat. Quebec was an early adopter of anime, primarily because you have the culture war of the Anglophones and the Francophones that I don't want to get too much into because it's stupid. But the point is, if you watched French television, a lot of anime was on there long before the West kind of picked up on it. And you had Dragon Ball on Fox and YTV that was dubbed in English by the Ocean Group. And that's where you hear like that intro there. And grant the Wanderer a single wish. That's David Kaye, Beast Wars Megatron. Ian Corlett was Master Roshi. Oolong, I think, was Alex Willows, who was Tarantulas. So you had a lot of those Beast Wars guys doing some of their very first gigs in a lot of ways with Dragon Ball and a lot of the Ocean stuff in general. Ronin Warriors was another one of them that they did. So I was introduced to it through the manga. And man, oh man, it didn't stop there. So in that same year, I go to, actually, it's kind of funny. the comic store that has the Cybertron Starscream and the Silverbolt toy that people are buying from right now. I went to their store and they had this. OMG. It's staff slashing Goku. You have a choice between fast kicking Krillin, sword slashing Yamcha, and Goku. So I picked up Goku. You just twist his arm and he does that. He could take the sword out. What's cool, he has his tail and you could pop the tail out. Oh, there's blood on it. You know? Everyone knows how he loses his tail. So I picked him up back in the day. That was one of my first Dragon Ball toys. But there was another one that really changed the game. So going back to staring at this page and going like, man, who are all these characters? Because I'm looking at the cartoon and it's obviously original Dragon Ball. And it's like, oh, well, you have young Goku there. Like, I don't see Bulma here. Is Bulma that female android there, with the blonde hair? Does she get blonde hair later? Like, is Piccolo that Emperor Pilaf guy? Like, does he become like, is this Piccolo guy Emperor Pilaf when he's older? Because, it's Son Goku and they call him Goku in the cartoon. So maybe the translation, I didn't know what the hell I was looking at until I picked up issue number 17 of the manga and learned about the Z era, Piccolo Daimoa, and then Piccolo Jr., Ma Jr., also known as actual Piccolo that we all love today. And I fell in love with that Piccolo character. So, yeah, these bring me back, these books. One day I go to Chinatown here in Montreal, and they had a store with a whole bunch of these. These are the Super Battle Collection Dragon Ball figures. These were some of the very first Dragon Ball Z figures. They're legendary for their removable clothing or armor and 2 points of articulation. Always just this is yellowed as hell, though, by the way. Oh, there goes Piccolo's stuff. Look how yellowed this is. Oh, look at that. So you get the figure itself. It was always was known with these figures. They just had 2 points of articulation. That's it. The arms could come off. Ah, damn you, Raditz. Shoot my arm off. And then you had all the accessories that could be attached. These, of course, would be imported through Bandai of America. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people are familiar with these, but these are the original Japanese ones. Extremely yellowed throughout the years. And awesomeness. And I picked up Piccolo first because I loved Piccolo. I thought he was really cool. I thought it was cool, this idea of the bad guy becomes a good guy. That never happens. What a unique idea. Granted, Akira wasn't the inventor of it. I would like to credit that to Fists of the North Star and Kaniku Man for probably pioneering that, but definitely Piccolo was on the cusp of that stuff. So picked that up, and then I would get all the others afterwards. Huge collection of them. But here's where it gets even better. You get a few good books here. Went into the archives today, guys, let me tell you. So I want to see if there's any of the... I love Dragon Ball. Well, you have to love Dragon Ball. So, around the same time in 95, 96, this beauty came out. This was the first printing of Dragon Ball in the West. It was Dragon Ball #1. This goes for stupid money now. I didn't realize that until years later. I would have taken better condition of it. Still in pretty good shape, but... So, this is how we got them, floppies. In French, you got them like this. Full-size Japanese tome style, read left to right. And the American version, comme ça, like we say in French. How did I first learn about Akira Toriyama, though? Came from this beautiful book. Le Grand Livre de Dragon Ball, the big book of Dragon Ball. So, I knew of the name of Akira Toriyama because it was always on the corner of everything I read. And he was always giving little blurbs. Let me just show one of the blurbs at the beginning. Anyways, I'll show it afterwards. I don't have to go through all of that, but this book was what introduced me to Akira Toriyama, because this was an art book, hardcover, beautiful art book that had all of the art. Let me turn around this way. All of the cover art and interior art throughout Dragon Ball's history from start to finish. This book came out in 1996 in Quebec, Canada, in French Canada. I bought it here in Montreal, and it was pretty much commemorating because Dragon Ball had just ended in Japan. So it had all of, everything, every piece of art possible, everything, even like variant art. I like this one here with the Formula One cars. Akira Toriyama, by the way, was obsessed with cars. And that's why he loved drawing the characters with vehicles, because he loved cars. Akira actually in his office had a motorcycle. And when he was bored, he used to ride his motorcycle to kind of clear his head. So he'd have variants here. Oh, maybe, the red car, maybe yellow, just all kinds of great art, all the different transformations, all throughout the years. Cell Saga going into the Boo stuff, all kinds of different pieces. These are the spines for the mangas in Japan that made a single image. All the different author photos, just great. But this was the piece here, was this interview with Akira Toriyama in French. And he did an interview with Glenat, which was the publisher for French Dragon Ball. And he did an interview with them. And that was the first time I learned of who this Akira Toriyama cat was. And talking about his love of Dragon Ball. And he was doing an interview. There he is at a park there, just talking about how he created Goku. His love of cigarette smoking, which is amazing because he was a insane chain smoker, but that's not what did him in. Although who knows if he would have lived later in life. It's hard to say. And he talks about his love of pornographic magazines, video games, and everything like that. Fantastic book. The Big Book of Dragon Ball, Le Grand Livre de Dragon Ball. Absolutely amazing. How much did I pay for this? Probably like $30 back then. Beautiful hardcover book. I wonder what's under the sleeve, how it looks. It's actually pretty nice. Look at that. Under the dust cover. Really, really cool. But that's not it. They did a second book. The Dictionary of Dragon Ball. Le Dictionnaire de Dragon Ball. By Glenat. They did that a year later in 1997. This one's huge. And it covers everything. Like, oh, do you want to know power levels? Do you want to know characters? Do you want the timeline? Do you want to know how races work? Like the different family trees? Or do you want to learn like how certain characters function? Or like, how does Akira Toriyama do the manga and stuff like that? Like, this was so freaking crazy, this one. And I must have read this cover to cover like 200 times back in high school. There was so much here. And a lot of it was all just Akira Toriyama's opinions. Learning that his favorite character is Piccolo and that he wanted to do more with him. Here we go. How the Dragon Ball universes work. So imagine before Super introduced all the different universes, like here's how like you have the heavens and earth, and then like how the worlds work in the afterlife. Like he's explaining how Snake Way works and everything. These books were crazy. Crazy. So it just opened up the world. Now keep in mind, in 1997, all you had of Dragon Ball was 13 episodes of Dragon Ball Z dubbed by Ocean Group, which most of America had not seen yet, just more or less Canada, except for select regions in the United States that had Fox. So you only had that. You had one movie that was dubbed, the Blood Rubies movie was dubbed, and then later on the Dead Zone. And that was it. Like there was nothing. There was nothing that you had. And so I would have to, and shout out to my buddy Lion, who I went to high school with and was a lifelong friend. We used to go to Chinatown, buy VHS bootlegs with terrible subtitles. Sometimes it would have subtitles in English, but the dub was in Vietnamese or Chinese. We didn't care, even if it wasn't the original Japanese. We wanted anything Dragon Ball. And it was insane. Like, my bedroom was covered with Dragon Ball posters. I had Dragon Ball figures, Dragon Ball trading cards. I still have all of this stuff to this very day. And Akira was a big part of that. A big part of me wanting the internet in 1995 was because I wanted to find more Dragon Ball stuff. Because we had an internet room in my high school, which like one computer had the internet attached to it. And I remember going on that computer, and if you typed Dragon Ball in the early internets of 1995, you found thousands of stuff, and this is like early internet, so you couldn't find video. There was no YouTube back then, but there was so much of that stuff. Master Roshi is my spirit animal. I think he's all our spirit animal. But Kevin PH, does Ron Friedman need help with medical bills or paying for his cancer surgery? It's medical bills related to his cancer surgery, and because he had to move in order to be close to the hospital where he could get his cancer treatment. So that's kind of the whole bubble of it. It's a whole lot of stuff. Just looking at those bills, it was like, eesh. But yeah, so I mean, Dragon Ball was a huge part of my life, and what made it even more crazy was Wager High School, where I went to high school. Dragon Ball was like a religion there, because I found that the black community really connected with Dragon Ball on a way that still to this day I have my theories. They're funny theories, but I have my theories. But like, man, when they watched Dragon Ball, something just unlocked with them that just connected with them. And Goku and Krillin and Piccolo, who's the real brother, these guys, like, they loved it. And you would have, no joke, you would never see this. You'd have the jocks and you'd have the nerds all sitting in one room together, the basketball team and the chess club, all sitting in one dark room during lunchtime, watching like a badly copy of a copy VHS of Lord Slug trying to take over Earth, Dragon Ball Z movie 4. And everyone just watching, yo, that's hype, guy. Oh, snap. Yo, why Goku's hair turned yellow? Is that Super Saiyajin thing I heard about? Madness. And, you would go to Chinatown, and Chinatown would have trading cards and posters and little figures, and you were just piecing together this world. Why does Goku have long blonde hair? What is that? Is that not Goku? Is that Raditz turning Super Saiyan? We didn't know. Like, it was nuts. It was nuts. Like, it was just this whole, like, like, it was like anthropology. We were just kind of digging and trying to understand this stuff from this foreign language. And then, the internet kind of helped a lot, because as slowly, people were putting little clips of the show in early internet, and then full episodes being able to download through Morpheus. Morpheus was the first ever file downloading peer-to-peer. You had Napster for music, you had Morpheus for videos back in the late 90s. And then we were downloading like episodes of Dragon Ball GT, because that was the new hotness. Oh my God, Dragon Ball Z might be done, but GT is the new hotness in the late 90s. It was crazy. And by the time America got Toonami and got Dragon Ball in 2000s, like, Canadians had already got their fix, We got all of that stuff, This is my big Gokus here. Look at the size of this Goku. This is my 24-inch Goku figure. Look at that. I got this Christmas of 98, I want to say. I know it was the Bandai one. Love the thing. Look at the detail on the face there with the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And he could do his charging. And I got my Kid Goku back there. This one I got years and years later. Really cool. Really, really cool. But man, like, Akira passing away, it just messed me up. It messed me up big time, because he was someone that, let me just pull up an image here. By the way, that's his office on the right. It's his office on the left too, but look at this humble environment in his house. He had his little motorcycle there, and he had this little station. If you actually zoom in, he's sitting on a chair that has a cushion on it. He didn't buy some expensive chairs. He kept it simple. And literally magic was created in that little corner of his room there, you know? And this man created a world that the entire planet connected with. You know, it's absolutely insane, the absolute ignorance that the English-speaking Western world has when it comes to Dragon Ball. You go to South America, you go to Mexico, you go to anywhere in Europe, China, Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, Philippines. Dragon Ball is Superman. Dragon Ball is Batman. It has that much notoriety, you know? And, like, it's insane how people don't get just how important that brand is and how much it influenced everything. Everything. Final Fantasy VII, look at Cloud. You don't think that's freaking Super Saiyan 1 Gohan? You know? You look at Super Sonic from Sonic the Hedgehog. You don't think that's Super Saiyan? I could go on and on. Like, it's insane how much it influenced battle shonens. After Dragon Ball came out, every battle shonen wanted to be Dragon Ball. Tournament arcs, everything like that. Tournament arcs were the thing, you know? And of course, Akira could look to his contemporaries. He could look to Fist of the North Star, which obviously influenced him, along with Kinnikuman. Man. Those two will always be the grandfathers of Battle Shonen. But Dragon Ball came around and said, hold my beer, you know? J.R. Mina, entire world connected. Seems like worldwide sharing the energy of the giant spirit bomb. Totally. And that's the thing. A Filipino guy could look at Goku and go, that's me. A white guy in Canada could look at Goku and go, that's me. A black guy in Jamaica could look at Goku and go, that's me. You know? Like, it's insane just how powerful, how effing powerful it was. Look, Dragon Ball Evolution was, Mark Morales, lest we forget about Dragon Ball Evolution. That's Hollywood. That's Hollywood trying to make their money like they always do, you know? Here's a little fun fact. If you're an English speaker, okay? I don't care if this video gets blocked for this one. If you're an English speaker, all right? Let me just try to get to the right page. If you're an English speaker and a fan of Dragon Ball, here's a fun fact. Do you know that every single English version of Dragon Ball is completely censored and garbage? So there is not a single English version of Dragon Ball that has been translated by Viz Media or anything that has not been censored. So there is no proper way to read Dragon Ball in English in the Western world. You can read it in French uncensored. Boom. Oh no, Bulma, no. Bulma, no. Bulma, no. You know, but I don't care. But that's all cut out. That's all censored with bubbles or whatever. They'll show Goku's penis, though. They have no problem with that, which makes me wonder sometimes how weird the world is. They have no problem showing a 3-year-old's penis in a manga, but a woman's breasts who's of age, they'll censor that stuff. But that's a big problem, is that if you're an Anglophone who wants to read Dragon Ball uncensored, you don't have an official source. There's plenty of unofficial ways, wink, wink, that are perfectly uncensored and great to read online, even in full color. But if you want to buy Dragon Ball and own it, there is not a proper official version. Hopefully, maybe the passing of Akira Toriyama will maybe make some companies think twice and stop being a bunch of weirdos. But, you know, sandwiches versus panties. That's the Dragon Power Nintendo game where they flipped over the panties. I have that game. But yeah, man, it's like, it is what it is. Rama 1/2's another great one too. I love Rama 1/2. But that's Rumiko Takahashi, who and I guarantee Takahashi-san pulled a lot of stuff from Dragon Ball. She's the #1 female mangaka of all time. I'm pretty sure she looked at Akira Toriyama and taken some stuff there too. you know? But, just it's insane. It's absolutely insane how like there's certain places in the world that just they don't get it, you know? They don't get just how powerful this character is in terms of pop culture. Dare I say, more people would be in the corner of Goku than they would of, let's say, a Batman or Superman. And you would think something like Batman or Superman or Spider-Man that have such a mainstream appeal in the Western world, but you put Goku anywhere else on the globe, unrivaled. Unrivaled. No touch. You can't even touch those other guys. You know what I mean? And it's just like those characters are just they're legendary. Let's go back to the art book because the art book's the best one. Let's let's go to some of the more wacky stuff. Well, there you go. See? Thank you, DW Brian, because she watched Battle Shonens because of Dragon Ball. Of course. Of course, she was coming off Lum at the time. She was doing Urusei Yatsura, which was, your typical like I guarantee she watched like I Dream of Genie, and was influenced by Urusei Yatsura, the classic alien. Oh, here you go. You want some Master Roshi is my spirit animal. That's Master Roshi taking photos. Oh yeah. There you go. Love it. Love it. Love it. There's the first major second tournament arc.
Must be stopped.
First one was when it was Kid Goku.
The cost.
Dragon Ball versus Star Wars Global Reach. Not Dragon Ball. Star Wars is popular, but Star Wars for the longest time was 3 movies, and that's it. Between 1977 and 1996, Star Wars was 3 movies and a bunch of books that no one in the rest of the world read. Most of the Western world didn't read the Dark Horse comic books of Star Wars and the novels that were done by, I want to say Prism Star was doing the books at the time. Correct me if I'm wrong. Not Prism Star. Oh my God, who was the book publisher for the Star Wars books? No, I think it was Prism Star. No one was reading those. So Star Wars to most people was 3 movies, and maybe if you want to go into the video game world, Shadows of the Empire, an N64 game, a PC game with some, X-Wing versus the TIE fighters. But Dragon Ball was a manga, it was an anime, it was video games across multiple platforms. Again, if you played Super Nintendo in Europe, you had Dragon Ball games available on the Super Nintendo in French. I played the Dragon Ball fighting games in French because they were readily available in import stores here in Quebec, specifically the third one, Super Butoden 3, which you didn't even need a Honeybee adapter. Plugged right in because it was a French console. So, you can't deny that stuff, man. You can't deny that stuff. Like, you have to be crazy to think that, like, most of those brands, absolutely crazy. Just want to make sure you guys can see all of this. Look at these Formula One stuff. I love this. And I love it too because it's Honda. It was Honda, and at the time in the 90s, Ayrton Senna was racing for Honda Japan and was killing it and winning championships. Actually, that's Ayrton Senna's helmet right there. So if anything, that's straight up that. Fantastic. I think there's another one too. Yeah, there we go. That one. That's really cool. Me with my open wheeler Formula Ones. Gonna love that stuff. But Akira loved drawing mecha, whether it be cars or any of that kind of stuff. Frieza's forms here. Final form. It's the Dragon Ball segment today, guys. I apologize. We'll go back to Transformers next week, but I'm gonna give my condolences and my love to Mr. Toriyama today. That's what I want to do. There's the androids. 16 never got enough love. This right here, this poster was on my wall, my bedroom, on the back of my door forever. Love that one. Love that one. And all the suits. There's a piece of art where Goku is playing Ness. I guarantee, Guillaume, it is in this book. I guarantee it. There's so much. I know that they have the regular Nintendo Goku one is in here. Let me find that one. Because this book has everything. There we go. There we go. There's that one. And this piece of art here, this pirate one, this piece of art here, I've seen on bootleg merchandise all the time. Let me find some of the others. So much good stuff. Oh my goodness. Where were we? Android Saga. Huge influence on everyone's childhood. I love this one, Everyone Given the Fingers, which, by the way, censored in the Western releases. Any signs of any inappropriate gestures were censored from the Western version of the manga. Ah, sometimes we're a bunch of babies, I swear, you know? Sometimes we're just a bunch of babies. I love how the French version can be uncensored, but the English version can't. You know? I love, again, you know, this vehicle was actually on Akira Toriyama's desk for the longest time. But like no context, just, Goten, Trunks, Gohan, guns, vehicles. It has nothing to do with the anime. They just Akira just wanted to just draw some robot stuff or some vehicles or whatever. You know? Again, vehicles, vehicles, vehicles. He loves that stuff. And I always love that about him is how obsessed he was with vehicles. This was from the intro actually of We Got Power season, I guess, opening number 2 of Dragon Ball during the time jump. Gohan drove a car before his dad, I guess. What we got here? So much other good stuff. Oh, here it is. Here's the Super Nintendo one. You can barely see it. It's Vegeta fighting him. No, I've been defeated. Finally, Kakarot, I have defeated you. Super Nintendo. This book has it all. All of these. You could probably find this ridiculously cheap if you buy it in French, it's an art book. Who cares, right? Yeah. I mean, all my Anglophone friends, they didn't care. It was an art book. There's Dabura, cut up Gohan. More miscellanea art. There's all the Majins. Definitely a big influence on my childhood. I love all of this. See, and again, there was the big the end because this panel right here was actually the very first panel of the last chapter of the original manga, kind of showing like the full circle, and then the goodbye and thank you by Akira Toriyama. This was all in the very last chapter, so they kind of reprinted this in a monocolor, I think a four como, you know, Akira-san. Which, by the way, you want to talk about influence? If you like the Sniffix from Super Mario, that's where they got their inspiration from that. Miyamoto drew a lot of inspiration for Super Mario stuff from Goku. The running from Dr. Slum for Mario with the flight and everything. All that stuff. What's up, Larry? Welcome back. We're just looking at some Dragon Ball stuff. See, look at all the vehicle stuff. I just want to just go through that. Like every single one of these. Like you have like Goku with vehicles, vehicles. Like Akira loved, and none of this was in the manga or the anime. You never really had this stuff. Once in a while, Bulma would pull out a capsule and there'd be something, but very rarely did you kind of have this stuff. This was all just like, like here, like again, here's Goku and Gohan. He's driving a car, but we all know how Goku was with driving a car in the anime and manga. Well, actually, it was just in the anime. It was a filler. Different color palettes. How can we do this? I like this one here. Goku giving Formula One advice to Gohan. I like that one. It's a nice one. Very, very cool. See Goku in a F-15 jet. more cars, you know. There's so much, and I use the term mecha because people, when they associate mecha, they associate it with robots in the Western way. But in Japanese culture, mecha is also linked to, how they shorten everything, mechanical. And Akira loved mecha. He loved mechanical. He loved like that kind of stuff. He loved model kits, building model kits, and more specifically, building car model kits and motorcycles. He loved vintage vehicles. And again, vehicle stuff. That's why there's so much of that. T Formers 2002. What are your thoughts on the future of the franchise going forward with Akira's influence? Well, I mean, Akira really kind of stepped back during GT. He was just kind of like, you know, I'm going to guide the story, but you guys fill in the blanks. Here's my key points. I'll draw characters and create them, but otherwise you guys will do the rest of it. And it's primarily because, and he said it himself, like during Dragon Ball's run, he didn't have any time. He would wake up at 10 a.m., he would start thinking to himself, and then 1 p.m. he would start drawing. And then he would go for a cigarette break, or he would go on his motorcycle and go for a drive. He would get distracted at a candy store or something, and then he'd come back, and then he'd be like, oh my God, actually, there's a Star Wars connection there. I'll mention that in a moment. He'd like freak out. Oh, I got to meet a deadline. And then he said he used to listen to the soundtrack of the 1977 Star Wars movie on LP, vinyl record. LP is limited play. And he would listen to the Battle of Yavin, which is like when they're attacking the Death Star. And he would listen to that when he was trying to meet a deadline for Dragon Ball. So if you want to know what music Akira was listening to when he was drawing Dragon Ball, he was listening to Star Wars music. So Akira knows what's up, at least in terms of his importance. And then he'd finish at like 3 a.m. in the morning, 6 a.m. in the morning, go to sleep until 10 a.m. again, and rinse and repeat. And he did that over and over. And and he didn't have time to really appreciate things. And he was a bit of he didn't like doing media appearances. Again, we'll go up to this overlay. He didn't like doing media appearances. He didn't like going to conventions. He didn't do signings. He didn't go to like big events. He was a very shy person. Being the typical artist, he didn't think he was a very good artist. He even pointed out himself, if you look at Dragon Ball early on and you look at the end of Dragon Ball Z, you see a huge artistic evolution that happens within his own style because he felt like he got better at drawing as time progressed, and he looks at his old stuff. Like, the best example is like, look at Yamcha. Because Yamcha was an adult character in original Dragon Ball, and he was an adult character by volume 42, aka the end of Dragon Ball Z. And you look how much Yamcha changed physically by how Akira drew him. I don't use Goku because Goku grew up, and you could argue that, the growing up had a change of the art style too. So there's a lot going on there. There's a lot going on there. And it's just something where Akira just didn't have time to smell the roses and enjoy stuff. He really didn't. So that when Dragon Ball finally finished with the last episode, the last, volume 42 of the manga, the tome anyhow, and the last chapter in Shonen Jump, and then of course the anime finishing in 95, he would just go into a more influence role for the future stuff. GT, a lot of people go, oh, GT's not canon. Yeah, I guess it's not canon, but Akira Toriyama had a lot to do with GT. He gave suggestions. He guided those characters. And it's the same thing with Dragon Ball Super. The last true thing that makes me happy is Akira's favorite character was Piccolo. And the last Dragon Ball movie, Dragon Ball Superhero, was a Piccolo movie. And he finally gave Piccolo his due and gave Piccolo his moment to catch up and be awesome. Going forward, it's hard to say. Dragon Ball after GT kind of went into hiatus. They kind of let other things be big. Once in a while we get a little, manga one shot, or we got a, Hello, I'm Son Goku special. But it wasn't until Battle of the Gods and then Dragon Ball Super did they show, yeah, we could get someone else to draw the manga. We could get someone else to work on the anime, and Akira could come in and draw designs once in a while, because he did that for Dragon Quest for years, and of course Chrono Trigger, where he would still be designing characters. He's not making the game, he's not writing the story, but they'd be like, "Hey Akira, we need a couple of monsters, we need a couple main characters." So he was always up to that. And so it's more so the future that I'm concerned about is the future of Dragon Quest and their character designs, because now he's not going to be there, and the future of Dragon Ball and their character designs, because he's not going to be there. The story would have still continued without him. Even if he's alive, I think that they were kind of already working without him in a lot of ways. But it's the character designs that bother me. Because now everything that's going to be made from Dragon Quest, the video game, and Dragon Ball, the anime and manga with Super, is going to come from somewhere that wasn't him. And that's going to feel weird. And Japan is very much so about honoring those original creators. And I don't know how far it'll go without him. You know, I'm very curious to see that. Mark Morales with the $5 super chat. I think people relate to Goku more because they saw him from a boy to a man, always seeking strength. Most superheroes were adults and already powerful. 100%, brother. The story of Goku is the story of someone who is a low-class Saiyan. Expected nothing. Everyone is expecting him to be a nobody. He's going to go nowhere in his life. He's going to be a low-class Saiyan, working for the man, you know, and going to go nowhere in life. But then what do we see through Goku? If you train, if you put the time in, if you put in the effort, if you push yourself, if you believe in yourself, if you're not lazy, you could achieve your goals, you know? It's not like other, the Hulk got caught in a gamma ray explosion. You know, Wolverine was given those claws, or any mutant is born with their abilities. Superman, oh, yellow son of Earth, now I'm strong, you know? And I don't want to knock my Marvel and DC superheroes. I love them. But Goku showed that we watched his journey. You know, Master Roshi, when he trained Goku and Krillin, there was this great line. They're lying down in hammocks, the four of them. Excuse me, it was, I think Launch was there too, and that's why there was 4 hammocks. I remember it was like 4 corners of a palm tree. And he says, you work hard, you eat well, and you rest. And you'll get by in life. And that's what it was. Push yourself hard, work out, take good care of yourself, eat well, and find time to rest so your body could rejuvenate. And then keep doing that. Don't be lazy. Don't procrastinate. Don't be stupid. Respect people. When did Goku ever get mad? You know, you had to kill your best friend for him to get mad, you know? Like, show respect, you know? Look how many people that he had that he saw as senseis, you know? First he's learning from Master Roshi, then he's learning from King Kai, then he learns from the Elder Kais, you know? Then he learns from Beerus, you know? Which is the gods. The dude went from low class, expected to be nothing, Saiyan to a god, you know? And we saw that whole journey. We saw that whole journey. Where are we at here? Where are we at? He's, I know, see, and again, it's just, Guillaume, Dragon Ball has so much great value to it. Goku's the most powerful guy in the world, but is still very humble. Look at the house he lives in. Pretty much lives next to the same house he was raised in, lives in the woods, keeps it simple, you know? Married a simple woman who's a little crazy. Chi-Chi's a little nutty. But, you know, great stuff. Absolutely great stuff. You know? Akira knew how to tell stories. He knew how to create characters that transcended race and religion, where, you know, there's a lot of other animes that are huge Saint Seiya and Kinnikuman Man and Fist of the North Star, Hokuto no Ken, other big pillars of the 80s that just like were incredibly huge, but Dragon Ball just had something that hooked where the others couldn't, you know? And I'm not saying those ones are terrible. I'm a huge fan of those, especially Kinnikuman Man. Saint Seiya is great too. Fist of the North Star is a staple, but Dragon Ball just had that you know? David Cabal, he won over his enemies. Fun fact about Goku. He didn't kill Vegeta in the Vegeta saga. He didn't kill Frieza in the Frieza saga. Frieza actually survived, and then Trunks was the one who took him out. He didn't kill Cell in the Cell saga. And he technically didn't kill Boo. Boo got reincarnated as Oob, you know? He doesn't kill his main villains. They always join him or, get humbled. The most important thing to Goku was getting stronger. The most important thing to Goku was losing. He wanted to lose because if he lost, then he knew someone could be stronger than him, and then he could learn. That's some powerful shit, Like, I love Mega Man games. My name's Proto Man. I love Mega Man games, and I love Mega Man games because they're hard. Because when you lose, you go, well, what did I do wrong? How could I do better? How do I beat this game? Is there a pattern? Is there something I could learn here? This game is beatable. How could it be beatable? I got to figure it out. That's why I love Mega Man games, because they're so tough. Piccolo killed Raditz. Yeah, you could any major antagonist. Like the only time Goku killed was in the movies, the movie continuity. Then he's like throwing Genki Damas at characters and everything like that. He's killing everybody. But in the actual main continuity of the manga, he ain't killing nobody, So it's just it's something where like that's something big to take away, you know? That's a big thing to take away from Dragon Ball 2 was this character that is more powerful than Superman or anybody, and yet he held back. And I don't remember where I read this, but it was saying like the most powerful people in the world are people that are so strong they could kill anybody, but they have that quiet confidence to not. And it's like holding back a monster. And to be able to hold back that monster is a true sense of character. And that's something like Goku. Goku is one of those characters that he could be a tyrant, Goku Black, I don't want to go too much in the spoilers of Super if you haven't watched it yet, but I'll spoil stuff at least for the 40-year-old manga anime stuff. But I wish, man, guys, it kills me because I had to dig this stuff out of my garage because I have 3 huge boxes, and they're huge. They're like size of like television boxes, old school TVs, of all my Dragon Ball stuff. And I have none of it on display. The only stuff I have on display is my books because it's in the manga room, and some of the newer SH figure art figures I picked up of certain characters. Like I picked up the Dragon Ball Superhero Piccolo. I love Ginyu, so I wanted to own any piece of Ginyu merchandise, so I picked up the Ginyu figure. And of course you have the odd stuff that'll be littered around the house here and there. Actually, I have my Piccolo here too. Yeah, this was my Piccolo pewter figure. I love this one. Really cool. I love Piccolo. Piccolo's my boy, And this, by the way, all these years of me doing the live stream and you guys watching me, this stuff was right here, was always right there. This isn't like, oh, Akira's dead and now you're talking about Dragon Ball Proto. No, you don't get it. Like, always was a big part of my life, and I just never talked about it because you guys are seeing me talking in the Transformer room, not in the manga room, Oh, Krillin definitely won in the end. Krillin used to get all the ladies. Look, even Marin, Although naming your daughter after one of your big-breasted exes, I don't know about that, though. Have I met Akira Toriyama? No, I have not, and most people haven't, unfortunately. Like I said, Akira was a very solitude individual. He kept to himself. He didn't do like so many mangaka guys. Like they do what's called handshake events, where like he'll do an autograph and you'll shake his hand. Like The creator of JoJo is the best example of that. He does tons of public events, Iraqi, you know, but he just kind of kept to himself. He would rarely come on talk shows. He rarely did interviews. He rarely did public events. He even said in one of his interviews that he did do that when he goes outside, he wears a hat, he wears glasses, he wears a mask. And a lot of his, let me just show you here with his author. Here we go. So a lot of these are whenever he would do a Dragon Ball manga of the 42 chapters, he would do a little portrait of the art. So like this is Akira going around. That's how he would go around. He would wear a mask always. He would always, because he always was embarrassed. See, like sometimes he'd show a picture of his cat or dog, but he always kind of, that's Akira going around Japan, right there. Hat, shades, mask. Before it was COVID. He didn't want to be recognized. He just kind of kept to himself. And he also kind of had a little bit of a self-esteem issue. He didn't feel that his art was any good. He would look at other artists who were doing manga at the time. I know that he used to always talk about the guy who did Slam Dunk. Why is his name escaping me right now? But the guy who created Slam Dunk, he went on to do another manga called Vagabond. And Akira used to be like, oh my God, if I could only draw like how he draws Vagabond, you know? And he always like felt like his art wasn't any good, you know? While on everyone was copying Akira's art. Everyone wanted to draw Akira Toriyama's style, you know? But that's just artists in general, I find. Sometimes self-esteem is the first thing they have to get over. Guillaume, I read today that Akira never knew the impact Dragon Ball had on the rest of the world outside Japan. He never, it's sad because he just, again, guys, like, humble dude, you know? Humble dude. By the way, like, just to give you some context, so those boxing gloves that he looked at every day, those boxing gloves were a scene from Ashi Joe, or God, what was it translated into? But Ashi no Joe, which was a boxing manga, where I don't want to spoil it, but in the last panel, the main character dies, and it's an amazing manga, by the way. And he pulled a lot of influence from that because that was a manga that the antagonists would become best friends of the main character. And of course, antagonists would die. And, you know, just so he pulled a lot of influence from Ashi no Joe. You know, there's so much that you could deconstruct even from his office and what's going on there. You know, who is the successor to Akira? Well, Akira had two apprentices that were his assistants who usually helped him with his inking. One of them would go on to create a little manga called Naruto, and the other one go on to create a little little manga called One Piece. So, I mean, I always kind of felt the true spiritual successor of Dragon Ball was Naruto. I felt that Naruto had a lot of similar beats, and I felt that the creator of Naruto, it's almost like the Dragon Ball DNA was there. Like, look at Naruto. He's a guy who was, you know, shunned by people because there was a monster inside him. And he becomes the nine-tailed dragon or the giant Azuru ape like Goku. And then you have like the Piccolo character is kind of Kakashi. And then you kind of got the Vegeta character in Sasuke. And it's like, oh, hey, you know, the main female character that you think is going to hook up with Goku, which is Bulma, aka, you know, what's her name? Oh my God, why am I blanking on pink-haired girl? This is gonna kill me. I literally read like almost all of Naruto. Someone help me out here, because I'm gonna say Hinata, and that's not it, because Hinata's the other girl that Naruto hooked up with. Oh my God, why am I forgetting her name? What is wrong with me? Too much information in the old brain today. But yeah, but the point is like, you know, everyone is expecting, oh, Naruto's going to hook up with her, but then of course hooks up with the Vegeta character. Sakura, thank you. Why did I forget Sakura? Good Lord. Good Lord. Shame on me. But yeah, you know, like you see a lot of the similar beats. You know, you see like, you know, they do a sequel series and now it's about Naruto's kids and everything. Naruto is, or Naruto, however you want to pronounce it, is the spiritual successor of Dragon Ball in terms of you were looking for something that continues the same kind of beats in a lot of ways. If you don't want to watch Dragon Ball Super and you feel it's not, the DNA is not there. I've always felt that. So, just my personal take on that. And I think that's why Naruto was such a runaway success, because it really was in a lot of ways like that. It's crazy though. It's crazy. Sweet Baby is located in Montreal, and they're a bunch of posers. I met some of those people in real life. They're full of F. They're full of F. They don't know nothing about video games or anything. It's all just a ploy because they're based in Montreal and they learned how to be victims. That's all I'm going to say. Through other cultural stupidity. That's all I'm going to say. Bunch of posers. Not even part of the black community either. Bunch of posers. Bunch of posers. All of them. As someone, this white boy right here is more black than those people in fucking Sweet Baby. Trust me, I've met those people at game events. They're full of it. They are so fake. They just want money. They want to be professional money grubbers, Please. They know no suffering except that of living in a 1-bedroom apartment, because you're going to get nowhere with that kind of stuff. Apologize for having to bring some negativity in the celebration of the great one, but just want to bring that up. I hate those people being even associated with our city. We have so many great game developers located in Montreal. That is not one of them. That is not one of them. That is not one of them. Those are money-grubbing, terrible human beings. Bunch of hipster losers who know nothing about video games. Sensitivity reading. Yeah, no, it's just, I hate it. I hate it when you have individuals like that, you have a hobby and the hobby has a great environment. You know what I mean? A great environment of community and people getting along. Look no further than the fighting game community to find happiness in all different cultures and races getting together and playing. And then you have people that come in and go, here's everything that's wrong. And we're going to create separation. We're going to create hate. We're going to create problems. Get the F out of here, because none of that is actually virtuous. It's always about money. It's always, we're going to say everything that's wrong. And by the way, you could hire us to go do talkings at your events and everything. Get the F out of here, you bunch of posers that don't know shit. You know what I mean? Trying to play the black card when most of you people probably know nothing about black culture. Get out of here. Get out of here. Please. Probably doesn't even know what a hot comb is. Probably doesn't even know what a hot comb is. Probably doesn't even know what cocoa butter is. Get the F out of here. And this is coming from a white guy. Okay? Please. Please. I should show you guys a picture of my yearbook. It's just this, it's one white guy and a sea of black and brown, But being around that, playing dominoes, playing basketball, it bothers me when you see people like that use that as a way to make money. Disgusting. Bunch of grifters. Yeah, exactly, Abraham. Bunch of grifters. Bunch of effing grifters, And look, they ruined everything now. What a surprise. What a surprise, Because all you have to do is trick companies. Because there's nothing more powerful than white guilt. All you have to do is look at a white person in the face and go, "You're racist." And they go, "No, me? No, I'm not. You're hired. You're hired. I apologize. You're hired." And they play that card, man. Screw them. Screw them. They're gonna drown and burn like anything else, and they'll be gone. So it don't matter. All the negative press they're getting right now is stuff that people in Montreal knew for years. We just didn't know it was going to affect on a global scale. Literally The WB studio for WB Games and TT Games, which made the Lego games, was located in Montreal downtown. 5 floors of video games. Amazing freaking place. And they were in there as poison, ruining everything. Incredible. I run video game events. I try to bring these people in, but there's some people I don't want to bring because they're freaking cringe. They're freaking cringe. You know? Unbelievable. Don't even give them your time. Don't even look them up. I don't even want to get into the Hasbro stuff that was going on with them. They did a lot more damage than just the Wizard of the Coast stuff. Trust me. Me and Aaron have had those conversations about what happened in Mattel and He-Man and the behind the scenes stuff with these individuals sitting quietly in the corner of a room, minding their own business until it's time to create problems that didn't exist because there's a monetary benefit for it. Proto Man, what in the world is for dinner? Guys, I literally took a photo for you guys today to show you what I'm eating for dinner, and I forgot to transfer it. I forgot to transfer it to my my thing for the event. So it is what I like to refer to as White People Taco Night. Old El Paso. White People Taco Night. Let's do the wide shot. Let's do the wide shot. There we go. We got the tacos from the grocery store and the cheese from the grocery store. Just having a white people taco night, even though it's made by an Asian person, actually. No, I'm not eating my phone, although it probably would be very high in fiber. But yeah, look at some photos I took today. Anyways, but yeah, I'm having tacos tonight, having some leftovers of it had today. Tomorrow is going to be pho. I'm going to be having Vietnamese pho at the parents-in-law, so that'll be good. And then hopefully I'm going to go pick up some. Have to pick up some trading card books. Got to sort some trading cards. Nothing like eating a good taco. I know what you mean, my friend. I know exactly what you mean. I'm so glad I caught this stream. Hey man, I'm just glad that you guys are entertained and enjoying it. You know, I'm just glad to talk about Akira. You know, that's it's like normally we don't break away from Transformers. We try to keep stuff on topic, especially with the podcast and everything. But in like my holy trinity of stuff that's important in my life in terms of fiction, it's always been Transformers, Dragon Ball, and Mega Man. Those have always been like the three, you know? And there were three things that were always consistent in my life. You know, no matter where I was in my life, I could be in high school playing basketball and get home to watch Dragon Ball episodes and play Mega Man on emulators on my computer. You know, while buying Transformer toys and waiting for the latest Beast Wars episode. Like that holy trinity always existed. And Akira passing away fucked me up. It really did. It really did. Like my wife was just like, "Aren't you going to bed?" And I'm just like, "I can't." You know, 8 o'clock just ruined the rest of my night. Part of me going, I'm never going to be able to meet the guy. Part of me going, I'm never going to be able to get his autograph. You know, part of me going, oh my God, like to me, Dragon Ball ends here now. Like there's no future in the brand. There's so many things that are going through my mind where it's like, you know, with Japanese IPs, they die with the creators in a lot of ways. It's so entangled with that where the second the creator is no longer with us, it's so different as opposed to America, where like Joe Shuster and Siegel, you know, who created Superman, they're just one dot in the millions of other people that'll be involved in it because it's giant corporate stuff. Marvel owns those guys, and it doesn't matter who made them, you know? Like Bill Fingers and Bob Kane, like they have so little to do with Batman today, you know? Like everything we love about Batman today has almost nothing to do with Bill Fingers or Bob Kane. It has to do with, oh my God, I love the '89 Batman movie. So then you love Tim Burton, or you love Michael Keaton, or you love the writers for it. Oh my God, I love the Batman cartoons. That means you love Bruce Timm, or you love Kevin Conroy for the voice acting. Like it's so crazy today how it is, unfortunately. It is. Wayans Brothers theme song. Well, the White People Taco Night theme song is something you find. Type White People Taco Night on YouTube. It's a theme song. Guillaume says I will rewatch the first hour that I have missed. You didn't miss too much, just covering news and a little bit of Akira celebration. I know we're at over the 2 hour mark, but I just kind of I just want to make sure that everyone is covered, and we did everything today, and we covered all the super chats, and we covered all the questions, and we celebrated Mr. Toriyama-san properly. Yep. This was the first picture I ever saw of him, you know? And then the interview, knowing who this guy was and going like, this is the guy behind the magic. But yeah. Anyways, guys, we'll call it quits tonight. I think we've had our fun today. I think we've had our fun. We'll be back to our regularly scheduled program. Whoever's at TFCon LA, I hope they're having a great time. Hope they're enjoying themselves this weekend. I hope they're not watching me. I hope they're actually having a fun time at the bar and hanging out with people, because that's the whole point of the cons, is to hang out with people of like-minded interest and sharing in the enjoyment and not separating and hiding in our hotel rooms, although sometimes I've been guilty of that due to running parts parties. But yeah, so hope you're having a good time in TFCon LA. The next con that I'll probably be at will probably be San Diego, I want to say. Probably San Diego Comic-Con. So if you're in the West Coast area, come to San Diego Comic-Con, and I'll be at the Symbiote Studios booth and later on the Hasbro booth. So that's where you'll probably find me. So go to check that out when that comes around. I'll obviously keep you guys updated on everything else as we get closer to it. Once again, also be sure to help support. Let me just get his slide up. Ron Friedman and his GoFundMe campaign. I will post the link in the replay of today's live stream in the pinned comment and in the description. If you're looking for the GoFundMe to help Ron pay for all his medical expenses and the craziness that is cancer, unfortunately. Awesome dude. So hopefully we could get Ron some cash to help him out to get through the craziness. Go check out my individual segment talking about him if you're curious and want to learn more about Ron and his important contribution to the Transformer world and my favorite movie of all time. But that's it, guys, more or less. Hope you had a great evening today. I hope I didn't bore you too much. And that's it, more or less, in the Transformer world and here on the Transformer Slag podcast. I need to shave. It's already starting to grow in. And I'm going to go chill and relax with loved ones and just take it easy peasy. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you for all. I didn't get to say thank you to the YouTube members and the Patreon people, Will Murphy and Abraham, T-Formers 2002, Guillaume, Mikey, and Louie. Let me see if there's any of the patron people here, too. Timmy K. Point, XR, Giants Bleed, Abraham. Who else am I missing? Because already some people have left, probably. But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you to the patrons. Again, if you want to support the podcast, come hit that join button, or in the description, we have the Patreon, which also helps too. That also helps with the pod and building up the craziness that we do here. Thank you all for everything. I'm going to go chill. Kind of downed about Akira, but maybe I'll go play some video games. That always makes me smile. I'm out of here, guys. Take care of yourself. Take care of your loved ones, your friends, your family, everyone around you. The world is not so terrible place as they make it out to be. Don't listen to Sweet Baby that tells you that the world is filled with racism, hatred, separation, everything like that. Your neighbor loves you. Everyone loves you. You just got to talk to them. You know, social media is in no way a reflection of the social world. And that's why I don't follow any of it. I'm out of here. Take care of yourselves. And we'll talk to you in the near future. Peace.